Hard work leads to success, or that's what we were told. But today we have Shakti Katyal here telling us that rest leads to abundance. Welcome, Shakti, and tell us more about your life and journey. You are a manifestation coach, you have been an author, you are an entrepreneur, and much more. So let's know from you.
Thank you, Anamika. It feels unreal to hear all those things. And I'm, trying to tell myself, reinforce this. Yes, I'm on a mission, even though some of those words seem very big. But, now, yes, I've been on a personal journey turned into a professional journey. And I tell a lot of people that, why my words tend to stick and create more impact is because I'm speaking out of personal experience and not just training. I mean, training is very important. But speaking out of personal experience is like, I heard from someone the difference between having your own biological child versus, adopting a child. When you have your own child, you've gone through the labor pains and all, so it's a different feeling. But back to your question. Sorry, what was the question again? Tell me again, yes.
Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
You have achieved all of it that people are still aiming for. Career, success, financial freedom. You had it all.
Yeah.
And yet there was a period of unrest where you were seeking something more.
Yes.
Where did it all begin?
Exactly. Thanks, Anamika. And the reason I asked for the question again is because I can talk end to end, all day, 24 hours, with or without cameras about this. But at the same time, it is important that we do let people know specifically what is blocking them. And you're right. I mean, in terms of my story, going back 7 to 8 years, about 2019, I think, where, as you rightly said, I had everything. There was I had not left myself with any reason, pretty much. Like I had the family, I had the finances, I had the professional success of, up to a limited level, but it was decent enough. It wasn't like I was jobless or anything. But some people can, again, miss that moment. Some people start before me, but I was lucky to start then. And I just realized that despite me putting over the top effort, with a lot of hard work, and we'll come to hard work in a moment, but I was putting in a lot of hard work, but it was not leading to the kind of unbelievable, outstanding level of success that I was imagining. So I was getting mixed responses at work as well, where, some things would click and some things would bring compliments and everything, but some things would be really, creating a lot of sweat and tears, but they were not turning into as many dollars as I can. So I'm really glad to some of those critics or those challenges, that made me feel like, what, I have this, but it's
more.
Nowhere close to where I can be. And I think this is an inner calling in many people. They just need to sit down, and that's where awareness comes in. So that was my calling.
Right. But I want to know that this kind of misalignment, if I may call it, many people feel at different stages of life, especially as they have progressed and seen enough of life. But not everybody has the courage to step away from it, or they still stay in their comfort zone, if I can call it.
Yes.
So what made you choose to move away from it and towards your alignment?
Exactly. And Anamika, you mentioned the word courage. This is probably one of the greatest virtues that I've found over these years. And I am not going to say that I was the most courageous person. In fact, I always felt that I was operating way under my threshold of courage. But now when I look back in hindsight, I'm like, oh my God, I was courageous. And essentially, it is this one single word that it comes down to. And I'm not trying to poke people. I'm not trying to say that, it's a very controversial word, courage. Like to tell someone you're not being courageous enough is not the right way of looking at it. But it's only the person themselves that they should say that, oh my God, am I really playing at my topmost level? And, couple of very practical things I'll mention here is that, your environment plays a big role.
True.
And now a lot of people for most of their life just stick to their family and friends. And they have to understand that their family and friends love them, but they will also keep them in their comfort zone and never let their courage be tested, because your family and friends are your well-wishers. Their first and the foremost aim is to keep you safe. So, nobody has developed courage in their world by keeping themselves safe all the time. So sometimes you have to venture into unsafe territory, and at that time it's very difficult, but you have to move away. Like I did move many cities, many countries. A lot of the times I had to ignore and disregard a lot of the words that were said to me by my close friends. because they were anti-innovation. In other words, that's why innovation takes so hard. So I think you have to again move away. That's why a lot of people go to hill stations. They will go for a walk. You have to go away from your environment, give your inner voice a chance, listen to it. And then, you will have two options, which is stick to what you're doing, which is the safe option, or the other option is going to be, it's going to feel like risky, but that's where the courage is going to be built and tested.
True.
So
yes, truly, you have been courageous. And another form of courage that you have showed is moving away from Australia, a place where you stayed for almost 2 decades, and coming to Dubai, a new territory for you. And that's where the birth of Real and Royal happened, right?
Yes.
So this is a very powerful name, Real and Royal.
Yes.
And I believe that's your ideology of what you want people to practice. Tell us more about this ideology.
Exactly. And I think I was trying to stick to the word real, being authentic all my life. And this is one of my biggest values to practice. And the second biggest value is freedom in terms of my value set that I stick to the most. Now, I was not connecting with the word royal for a very long period of my time, which was what happened later once I really sat down over COVID and not only worked on, my health and fixing what I was doing, but I really worked on my psychology of money. I'm like, okay, why am I having this negative connotation with
shying
the word
away
from being rich?
Yeah.
And that's what brings me to Dubai, because for the first time in my life, I've really sat down and made this move by design. I've chosen this city versus having landed here and then trying to tell myself, oh no, it works because of A or B or C. No, I chose Dubai because I knew Dubai promotes rich people. That's why you see a lot of high net worth individuals moving here.
Royal city.
Truly royal city. It can't be
more royal than this.
If you can attract people from Switzerland, then you are being royal.
True.
So, but again, one is incomplete without the other. If you are just being real, but not, really living at your full potential, not living royally in your own definition, then real feels a bit inadequate. And similarly, if you're being royal, but you're being fake instead. And that's what a lot of show off people do, is like they will try to, so you define your own rich, but make sure rich essentially means that you are operating at or well above your capacity. So go for it.
Great. So royalty is all about an abundant mindset, which you talk about very openly in your book. Now, we're told that rest and abundance are basically opposites.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the hustle mindset that's encouraged. But your book is named $1 Million Nap. That's like so intriguing.
Yeah.
That can we become abundant? Can we have more abundance in our life through more rest? It's very, very powerful concept.
Thank you. And I'm also very, very glad that I came up to this idea that I still believe in. Having published the book, having lived myself, I still believe this is like not optional. It's not like, oh, if you rest, then this can happen. You have to rest. Sometimes you have to take some things out of could have to a must have. And the moment it becomes must have, you will find the benefits yourself. And this is my little 2 cents of provocation to the people out there, because I know, like people are going to be like, oh, look, he's a lucky lad, and, he's made it. Now he's telling everyone to relax so that and all that. But no, look, I have written it in my book as well, that rest is not just your shield. It is your sword. So it is not gonna, like a lot of people look at rest as, okay, if we don't rest, then we might fall sick and then blah, blah, blah happens. But they don't realize, and that's what I'm trying to help people understand, that rest is not a protectionist mechanism. It is something that drives you forward. So just imagine you have to go from, Dubai to Abu Dhabi. It's a 2-hour journey, but if the road is clear, you can make it in 1 hour. But if there is a lot of traffic, then it's gonna take you 4 or 5 hours. So similarly, when you rest, you reach that point of clarity. Your internal click sound happens and you're like, you know what? Exact. And that is the moment of magic. That is when you're like, whether it's to do with investments, whether it's to do with gym, whether it's to do with a relationship task or anything like that. Yeah. So yes, rest leads to this meaningful action, which over time leads to abundance and royal lifestyle.
Thank you so much for validating this aspect, because I think forever I have been taking this my afternoon nap and now I have a valid reason to do it.
Now you will not be guilty anymore, not feel
Exactly.
guilty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But coming to something a little more serious about it is that even Elon Musk talked about it, right? Recently in a podcast, that work may become optional in the future as we see it. And that also implied a more restful life. What are your thoughts? And in that space and time, how do we define success if work is an option?
Yes, look, it's such a big thing that has happened lately that's made me, kind of take a deep breath. Elon Musk, if not the richest, he's one of the richest people, and not just rich, he's the powerful and
Yeah.
probably the most prominent voices on social media
And most
these
forward
days.
thinking.
Most forward thinking. I liked his style, I liked his brands, I liked the way he went about his out of box thinking, but he has won more brownie points in my heart now by making that statement. And to be honest, I've also felt validated to some extent that, I've been on this journey, and somebody as rich and powerful as Elon Musk saying that work, as in 9 to 5 work, will become optional or obsolete. And then also money as a concept will no longer be as fearful a concept as people are. There will be money in an operational sense, but it will not be creating the kind of ripples and, the fear that we have as in financial anxiety, as we know a lot of people carry these days. So yes, so I think he and I are very much on the same page. I've got way to go in terms of the impact and the wealth that he's generated. But at the same time, I think I'm so glad that he's helped, strengthen my mission. And also it's very interesting that out of that long interview, this is becoming the headline.
Yeah.
So why are journalists now picking that, okay, this is among a million things he must have said,
Right.
deserves a headline space? So there are people out there who are, thinking that, okay, maybe work needs a rework,
Reset, yeah.
rework, like we have to think fresh, because we are just operating from that 200-year-old industrial age of industrial revolution, 40 hours a week, 8-hour play, 8-hour sleep, and 8-hour work, something like that. So we
Yeah.
have to start thinking and start from zero, not come down from 40 hours.
Great.
So, yeah.
So great that you chose the word reset, because we are sitting in December and this is the time when we are winding down to
Yes.
2025 soon. And it's a time for reset, right? Everybody would be thinking of fresh beginnings, fresh
Yes.
restart, all of it.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you would advise anybody who is looking to reset and start something fresh in 2026?
Great timing for this question. And like after reaching a level, days of the week or months of the year start losing their significance, because I have chosen this line, and I've said this in places without even thinking very deeply, is that every day is a work day for me and every day is a holiday. In a way, I've been lucky to build a life that I don't need a holiday from. But to many people, including myself to some extent as well, like when coming end of the year 2025, yes, 2026, the first thing people need to really introspect is, have they given themselves enough rest? If not, that is the first cab of the rank. Because I always say that, look, people attract to money/earning. But before earning comes learning, which a lot of people have woken up to. You see a lot of people buying courses and all that. But before learning comes healing. And that's what was happening, by the way, in my years in the corporate life, is where I figured that the problem was not absenteeism, it was presenteeism. It was me turning up even when I was sick, because I knew nobody having a responsible role at work. You have to come and do the job the
Sure.
next day. Nobody's gonna pick it up. So you stop taking sick leaves. That's why a lot of people have sick leave accrued. So this is the time now where people are gonna make a choice, make a decision. Is 2026 going to be another year of hustle? Or is that going to be a year where they're going to really give themselves the necessary rest to heal? Because as I said, before earning comes learning, before learning comes healing, and healing only happens with rest, relaxation, and a break and a reset and a reboot, as you said. Because even if you go to the doctor and say, what's my sickness and how can I heal? The first thing they will say is, do this, but rest. If you don't rest, you're not going to heal. And if you're not going to heal, no matter how much learning you do or how much you pay and how good your coach is, you're not going to, because we don't even send our kids to school when they are sick.
True.
So you need to heal before learning. And then once you heal and then you learned, oh my God, sky's the limit from there, you know.
So I fear a lot of sick leaves and holidays coming up.
Exactly.
which
And I just heard from someone. I must credit this person. Her name is Noor. I can't remember the last name. I heard her recently. It's like, you know, she felt in her life that, you know, she was subconsciously being pushed towards having a child so that she could take a break from work. And she came up with this very beautiful concept. I'll tell you, this concept is called self-ternity. She said, instead of, you know, pushing us towards having kids when we don't really want, what we really want is rest. So I'm going for maternity leave so that I can get some rest. Or somebody is saying, oh my God, I'm getting paternity leave. But essentially what they really need is rest. So why can't we have this leave called self-ternity?
Interesting.
Which is like self-decided reason.
Yeah.
But also that you choose the tenure. You don't have to come back after 2 weeks or 2 months. You know, it may not be enough. Give yourself enough time. Go for an indefinite break. Again, I mean, obviously you will have to sit down, but if people pick this up as a really meaningful and valuable goal, they will achieve it. It's only a matter of them realizing that yes, it does help. That's why we're honing on the word rest, and why rest and reset is so important at this time especially.
Great. So when we are talking about reset, I cannot ignore the other magical word that we have heard in abundance, so to say, and that is manifestation, right? It's been overused.
Yes.
Sometimes people think it's magic. Sometimes people think it's a belief, and sometimes it's science. It's all of it combined together. How does one really manifest to make it work? I think you have manifested your life the way you had envisioned it, designed it. So please tell us to...
I think everybody has heard the word manifestation, and I'm sure they would have tried. And if they've not tried, then I'm coming to the exact word that's either leading them to not try it or try but fail in manifestation. The key word is belief, faith, trust. You know, that's what, you know, you need to, you know, and that in essence is courage, because sometimes you don't need to fight out people. You don't need to go to the war to prove your courage. All you need to do is believe in yourself, or believe in whatever idea or path that you're on, and just stick to it for a period of time, even when people are making you double guess everything, and, you know, people are like, oh my God, you're gonna, you know, lose everything that you have built. So all those voices, you know, are fearful voices. So sticking in the middle of all those voices from your circle, from your environment, sticking your ground, that's courage. So the thing is, I think more than manifestation, as I said, manifestation is essentially the concept when it works. But while it's working, or while you're thinking, the key word is belief and feel. As I say, feel it to heal it. I just said to you earlier that healing is a key word. Okay. Healing, as we know, health is the basis, and health has the word heal in it. Again, so the thing is, you have to heal, but to heal, you know, you have to feel. And a lot of us, a lot of the times, run away from feeling things. We are like, okay, if we can suppress some negative feeling or some negative emotion, maybe that's our way out. If you can push it under the rug. And that's why actually a lot of people run away from meditation or resting, because it brings back those feelings. A lot of people are like, and even for myself till today, I must say that I'm not a saint. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm still on that journey. I still get my own share of struggles and anxieties. But at the same time, I have now learned that that's part, like even the most courageous person in the world, even a Superman, would have fears. You know, the courage is not absence of fear. It's action in the face of fear. And if you see, fear is essentially false emotions appearing real. So you have to understand, even fear is an emotion, but it's a false emotion many times. And you should need to thank that part of your brain that's bringing the fear, but still move on. So now, coming to manifestation, I think a lot of people firstly haven't started. And anybody who starts and is convinced, has the conviction, you know, and gives it the necessary belief and the time, the duration, they are going to manifest whatever they want. A lot of the time, people either don't have a goal, which as I say, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. The other thing is, people don't have clarity to even plan. But sometimes people have the plan, the clarity and the goal, but then they haven't refined and defined that goal enough. So I think if you have really refined and defined your goal, and you know what? Sometimes it's very hard to do this all alone yourself. That's where you need coaches. And I've personally spent so much time, money, energy, and my belief onto coaches different coaches for different things that, they have really helped me soundboard like we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people might be watching this video, is because they're like, okay, they're seeking something. As they say, what you're seeking is seeking you. Is seeking you. So I think the ones who are sticking to this interview or this video till this far, already on their journey. So I think if you can do it yourself, well done. You'll save a lot of money, But if you're like a lot of people, you might need an external anchor. So find a coach and find us on realandroyal.com if you can, and I'll be available to help as much as I can, online or in person. And then we will help you manifest whatever you want.
So I had a wonderful takeout: feel to heal, and then to believe, for the science to make it work and create the magic of manifestation. Did I get the pathway correct?
Yes.
That's amazing, because we just start at, okay, let's create a vision board. But it has to start from internal, much more deeper alignment, right? And that's what we miss. Amazing. It also brings me back to our discussion outside when you were talking about belief, and you were talking about self-limiting beliefs. That many times we are not able to manifest is also because we have those blocks in our head.
Yeah.
We fear the success. We fear it happens. And that's one of the biggest blocks, right?
Yes, exactly. Fear of success is underrated. And a lot of people would realize, like I did, is that they haven't really worked on their fear of success. And since I work with a lot of coaches, they keep me accountable, they challenge me, and they give me the necessary forum and the opportunity in a confidential environment, by the way, because that's another thing that a lot of family and friends not provide, is that you can only tell your circle something to someone. You can't tell everything to someone, so that's why you need a detached, no links attached person that you can really sit down and work your life and your really dreams, who would not judge you. And they're qualified enough to take you through a structure that essentially takes you to your own answers yourself. The coach doesn't give you the answers. But fear of success, like for me, for example, and for many people, I think a lot of people haven't ended up building the kind of business empires or a personal net worth, despite having the capacity to do so, for fear of success, which they have not explored and evaluated and challenged. Like, for example, like in my case, I'm like, okay, why do I want $100 million business? When I really sat down, I figured the inner voice was telling me, what, Shakti, you would probably sit down after having achieved this difficult goal, that you would look back and you say, oh, was all that blood and sweat worth it? So in a way, it was trying to warn me that you might be regretting having put in those years and those times and energy and money, and you could do much better by sticking to where you are. That's that inner voice that tries to make you stick to, because there's the strong side of your brain, and then there's the weak side of your brain. So and you see now, if you realize this thing, it's given me fear of success. It's also giving me a self-limiting belief that the journey to achieve that goal is going to be difficult, if you carefully noted my words. So you have to really ask yourself, what's the evidence behind that people's journey is gonna be more difficult than life generally is? Like, life is difficult, even if you are a stay-at-home parent, even if you are, a child or an old man. Everybody has difficulties and challenge. But what makes you think that the challenge to this, the path to this goal is going to be more challenging, more difficult than usual? So firstly, you need to qualify that. I'm sure there would be some learnings. I'm not saying it's that inner voice is always useless. Sometimes you have to thank it. Yes, thank you for keeping me safe, and thank you for alerting me. But then always qualify that, and your coaches help you do that. And the second thing is, you then sit down and say, like, for example, I said to myself, really? Will I regret? Like, I built Real and Royal.
Yeah.
More than a year back, I launched this, thankfully with yourself. And then I'm very proud of it. So forget about regret. Here I am a year and a half later. I'm like, I'm so glad that I put a name, a shape, face to my mission. I've got a website, I've got these recordings that we're doing, and I've helped so many people, and I'm, doing better and better. But have I regretted at all in the last 12 months? No, I've been proud. So you can even flip these fear of success on the other side. You would be proud of your success. You will not be regretting your path. So think your plan through. Don't hurry up, as I said, and take ample rest. Think about it meaningfully, and don't let external values being imposed on you. But once you've chosen, don't let the fear of success stop you.
Great. That's very helpful for people who are ready to take that plunge and reinvent their life. But I will ask you something completely opposite. with so much information going on reworking, reinventing their life, finding purpose, finding meaning, probably not everybody needs to reinvent and redesign their life.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? Maybe their happiness can still be within the 9 to 5 or being a stay-at-home parent or whatever else they are doing.
Yes.
Should they find peace within that role, within that? What will you like to share with them?
Yeah, and nothing that we have said today means an overnight change, and it's a process, it's a journey. Look, well done to the people who've come to the conclusion rather that, what they're doing is what their real calling is.
Yeah.
But we know through data that that's minority of the people. In fact, a very small minority, whereas a vast majority of people like you and I, we started doing courses that we later think, hang on, who told us to take these courses, and who told us to back when we were young, people were, you had certain professions, so you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer and all that. Whereas for our kids now, the job titles, like the one that I'm doing, life coach, I didn't know I could be a life coach when I was, in my childhood. So similarly, I think I wouldn't have reached the kind of satisfaction. And as I mentioned earlier, that I've been lucky on the back of my own hard work that I've created a lifestyle for myself that I don't need a holiday out of. In fact, I find holidays very stressful. Other than the change element and the break from, the existing setup, let the juices flow back in the city and the house that you live in. So going away is helpful in that regard. But otherwise, going to a new place and traveling is anxiety. So look, I'm saying it's not about glorifying exit from the 9 to 5. It's about just evaluating.
Right.
Just take a moment. It's like, you are on a long journey. You just take a coffee break and sit down and think, hang on, just double check your map. Are we going on the right path? Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. So just
or just an audit of
yes.
Like we come to the year end, we do financial audit.
Yes.
Why not do a life audit?
Yes, I call it a real and royal audit. Which is one of the key products we offer is have an audit.
Yeah.
And as you know, my life as a, I'm an accountant, CPA from my past life, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Yeah.
Sure. We would love to know more. But before that, I want to ask for 3 tips for creating abundance while resting. What's the secret? It sounds too good to be true.
Yes. I think the word abundance is used mostly in receiving elements, receiving side of it. So I'll say a couple of things come to my mind straight away. One is generosity. It is one of the biggest virtues that is underrated in our world. And in fact, people use words like lavish, reckless, and these are the negative, whereas people use discounts, deals, all those kind of, things, or a steal, those things. I think firstly, if you can, operate from belief. Number one word probably would be belief, because even before generosity comes the belief and the courage. I'll put belief and courage in the one first bracket. Have the belief that you will not get abundance, you already have abundance. So bring everything that you ever desired in the present tense and operate as if you already have it. Because the moment you will start believing that, you will start getting the feelings of a billionaire. And if you believe in spirituality, your feeling will pull the abundance faster than you can even imagine. So, and then the second thing was generosity. First thing was belief. Second thing is generosity. Generosity to give. When we are giving, and I'm not talking just go out at the end of your life and write a check to your chosen charity. If you're dealing with taxi drivers, valet people, any professional, any young people operate at very shoestring budgets. Give everyone more than what they have worked hard for. I think as a stamp, it will create good. It will create decent vibe in their life and also in your life, because you will leave. It will rub off. You will leave out of it. So don't operate from scarcity mindset. And that's generosity. And then last, learn to receive, because believe it or not, many of us have problem receiving compliments. We don't know what to do when people compliment. And we've been taught about self-deprecation, humor and all that, but we've also been taught about, don't blow your own trumpet.
Exactly.
But I think give yourself enough credit and believe in the fact that you are deserving that wealth of that success. Because I heard Ken Honda recently, that comes to my mind. He's like, a lot of people unknowingly are blocking their blessings by not being open to receive. So think about how you can be more open to receive. How do you feel when somebody is ready to give you something? You just have to be open and not like, I'm having the body language that I must change now. Open to believe, like open, and just be fine. Don't feel guilt in receiving. Take the guilt out and bring the deserving confidence.
So we will say that let's receive the compliments from your feedback and comments on having an amazing first podcast
Thank
together.
you so much. I'll be obliged. Yes.
Thank you so much. And all of you listeners and viewers, if you want to live that abundant life, connect with Shakti Katyal on his website realandroyal.com or follow him on social media to learn more such amazing tips. Lastly, I want to know about where it all began so that they know what you are there to offer to them.
Yeah, I'll share my background so that people realize that I'm one of them. I was not born in a royal family, even though I'm trying to promote the royal lifestyle. I was born in a normal middle class family in a North Indian town called Ludhiana in Punjab. Spent a bit of time doing journalism, media. I was on air for 6 hours doing, I'm saying this in the light of, that life gave me success even before I started doing what I'm doing now, which could have been my anchors to stay there. And I did for some time. But yeah, so from Ludhiana to New Delhi, doing journalism, and then from there going to Australia for higher studies, and then ended up doing my master's in accounting and finance, then did my CPA, which is the chartered qualification for accountants, and then worked in the corporate sector for 10-15 years in multiple roles, project manager, IT consultant, and learned a lot about agility, so remaining ready to receive or ready to move, ready to migrate if
pivot,
necessary, be ready to learn, be ready. And now I've, for the last 5-7 years, I've been on this journey of self-transformation, which is now turning into transforming others in a financial and spiritual sense. And if you don't believe in spirituality, at least you will believe in psychology, which is very similar. So yeah, that's what we are here to help people with.
Thank you so much. It was amazing listening to you.
Thank you, Anamika. Cheers.